I have never been good at negotiation. I'm the kind of person who wouldn't complain if my order from a restaurant is sent out wrong. What I'm trying to say is for most of my life, I've had trouble asserting myself. I don't want to seem pushy. I don't like the embarrassment of asking and being told no. I never want to be a bother until this goes on. This is a hard mentality to break. It takes seeing myself as worthy, just as worthy to take up space as the person I'm supposed to be negotiating with or asking for the order to be corrected or something. I know that many introverts find it challenging to express their opinions or needs, especially in group settings. Why is this? I believe it's part of being shy and not wanting to be the center of attention, or maybe being overwhelmed with having to explain themselves or what they need. I've certainly felt all of these before. And that's what we're breaking down in this episode. Why introverts sometimes struggle with speaking up and asserting themselves and advocating for their own needs. And we'll consider the faith perspective to that. Welcome to another episode on the series on introvert problems and faith solutions. Let's get into it.
You're listening to the Driven Introvert Podcast, the place to be for dreamers, doers, and entrepreneurs who are ready to birth the dreams, callings, and ideas the Lord has placed in their hearts. Do you sense that God is calling you to step out and do something new, but you're held back by fear and uncertainty? Do you struggle with believing that you can do great things because of your quiet, reserved, and introverted nature? Welcome here. I'm Remy Roy, your host and founder of shepact.com. I'm an author, an entrepreneur, a creative, and a committed trier. I'm here to help you get unstuck and make progress on your God idea. Let's go.
All right, as a child, I always hated when my mom asked me to go to the market to buy stuff and she expected me to haggle. I grew up in Nigeria. This is what we do. She might say, the sugar is 10 naira. If they give you a higher price, tell them no, it should be 10 naira. In my mind, this was impossible. The shop owner has set our price. Who am I to convince her to accept less? As you can imagine, I'm a pay full price or do without it kind of person. And my husband absolutely doesn't like this. It hasn't helped much also that America has taken away the opportunity to sharpen my haggling skills. But I'm definitely working on being more assertive in situations that require me to speak up for myself. When you struggle with asserting yourself, it's easy to be taken advantage of. This can actually lead to self-loathing and self-blame sometimes. You know you should do better and be more confident, but you lack the inner strength and resolve to actually do it. Some of the people who have trouble asserting themselves could also potentially find themselves in abusive situations. And we've seen this all the time with people who might seek to control them physically or even emotionally. And it's because they perceive their weakness, so to speak. And I put weakness in quotes. Also, it may actually be tough to thrive in professional situations that may be highly competitive or require you to self-promote and be highly visible. This is something that I know that if I found myself in a corporate setting, I would definitely struggle with. This is probably why, according to research, most people with this tendency are more drawn to either like low-level positions where they don't have to be seen as much, or maybe they decide to take opportunities that require them to chart their own course, like entrepreneurship, creative entrepreneurship or something. If you find yourself overwhelmed by your inability to speak up for yourself, I totally understand how that feels. It's really hard to get out of this mindset. Yes, it's hard, but it's definitely possible. Hold on to Paul's words in Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. In your own strength, you might try and fail. So lean on the strength Christ provides. I feel like much of the mental and psychological hang-ups that we have can actually be traced back to identity. Like, what do you believe about yourself on a deep, visceral level? What do you believe about your voice, your person, your place in this world? If there are doubts there about how much you matter, it will show up in subtle ways, like not being able to assert yourself or bold enough to speak your mind or challenge the status quo. You feel like someone else has more say or more right to the thing or to do things the way they want it done. And this is something I've kind of gotten better at, but I still have to work on it at the same time. So let's talk about some practical ways for you to think about this and actually do this, for you to be more assertive and more confident in speaking up for yourself. All right, number one, it's important for you to know who you are in Christ. God has given you a voice, and your opinions matter. He knows you by name. You're not a part of a crowd to him. You're not faceless or nameless. This should give you confidence. It certainly gives me confidence. Like I have the full assurance of faith that I am known and loved by God, just as much as anyone else in this world. If the one who made you says you're unique and you matter, better trust that you really do, irrespective of how you feel. You see, your feelings will follow your beliefs and declarations. So the next time you feel like you're being taken advantage of or overlooked or maybe even gaslighted, or is the word gaslit? Well, the next time that happens, you can gently and firmly let the person know that this is not acceptable. Or you can express your thoughts and your opinions on a matter in a simple, humble way, but get your point across. It will not be easy the first time you do it. It will not be easy. And that brings me to the next point, which is practice. Yes, number 2, practice. Practice speaking up in low-stakes situations where maybe there's not much at stake, right? Practice expressing yourself, maybe with family members, friends. When you start feeling more confident, then you can increase the challenge by taking on weightier issues. If someone says something at work that undermines you, practice simple responses that are respectful but firm. Because you don't want to come at these things from a place of pride or anger or attacking someone, which is something that can easily happen if you're a quiet person or a more reserved person, because you're used to taking maybe all the whatever, I don't want to be too dramatic, but calling it abuse or disrespect. And then when you feel like you've had enough, the day you decide to speak out, then there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of resentment and bitterness, and it comes out not looking good. So practice simple responses that are respectable but firm. If you feel pressured to make a decision that doesn't sit well with you, saying no and not feeling the need to explain in great detail why you chose your path is something else to practice. Confidence is not a trait that's bestowed at birth on some lucky few people. I really believe that it can be learned and cultivated. Of course, it will require a growth mindset, which is the belief that you can make adjustments where needed and grow into the person you really need and want to be. For me, this is the core of why I'm passionate about this. Many times we see our struggles as kind of like a prison sentence or something. So maybe you think, oh, I struggle to speak up at work or in the presence of certain people or in particular settings, so this is what it will always be. No, you can grow, you can change. You can live the confident, happy, and joyful life that you imagine. I imagine that in your head, you're not caged. In your head, when you dream, hopefully when you dream, when you think about your future, when you think about your work situation, your family, you're not caged. You're not suffering in those dreams. Because in our dreams are aspirational. We want to grow. We want to do great things. We want to be happy and joyful, and excited about life. You can be that version of you. It will take work, but you can do it. And you have to believe that. All right, so 2 things. Number 1, know who you are in Christ. You have worth. Live like it. Speak like it. Respond like it. And number 2, practice your assertiveness. Speak up when something doesn't feel right. The more you do it, the better you will get at it. All right, I hope this helps you to be more intentional in pursuing assertiveness in the right situations. And it's important to know it's in the right situations. We don't have to pick fights about everything, right? You don't have to want to correct everyone about everything. But in situations where it really matters, you need to stand up for yourself. Like I said, this is something I'm learning, and I would love to hear from you. Are you an introvert? Do you struggle with being assertive or speaking up for yourself? Are there any strategies you've tried to get better at this? And hopefully this tip's also going to help you. Send me an email at thedrivenintrovert@sheepak.com. I would love to hear from you. Thanks for listening today, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy this conversation, please take a moment to follow or subscribe to the podcast. I'd also love your feedback on this episode. You can scroll down on your app and click write a review. I'd love to read your takeaways from this conversation. As always, don't forget to take courage, trust God, and go pursue your big ideas. See you next time. The Driven Introvert is produced by shepack.com and Remy Roy. Want to ask a question or share a comment in a future episode? Click on the link in the show notes to record your question in a voicemail.